This is Gavin, and I have a confession. So, if you've been paying attention, you know that I know I have not been great at loving other people throughout my life, listening to other people, and caring for other people. But what you don't know, perhaps what you don't know, is that I've been able to use GPT-4 to help me love people better. And what I mean by that is when people say things, let's say at work, when my boss says something, who has a lot of people seeking his attention and he has a lot of obligations. And let's even say my boss's boss's boss. His attention is very valuable. I can take what he said. I can throw it into GPT-4 and I can say, what are all the possible interpretations of what is meant by the words that this person said? And then I can interact with it. I could say, when this person said that, it made me feel this. And what has happened in my experience is I was blind to the possible meaning of the words that had been intended by my boss's boss's boss, for example. And my interaction with GPT-4 helps me to see what I could not see before. Helps me to practice loving my boss's boss's boss more than I did previously. Allows me to practice having empathy with my boss's boss's boss. And so I suspect that many people are like me and could benefit from this technique of taking the other person's words and using GPT-4 to try and explore what the other person meant by the words they used, instead of just assuming what the person meant by the words they used. What's happening is that artificial intelligence, which are these collections, mathematical representations of knowledge that has been trained into this thing we call a model, are being used for revelation. And so for me, there's a revelation about what my boss's boss's boss meant by the words they used and the situation that they may be in and why they would use those words, and a question to myself, what better words could they have used? And a realization that maybe if I had been in that situation, I would not have used words as well as they did. We all live in this very small bubble. We all have different size bubbles. And when I use GPT-4 to try and attempt to seek out more knowledge, more possible interpretations of these words, instead of just relying on my gut and my first interpretation of the words, it allows me to consider multiple possibilities that I was blind to. My world gets bigger. There was a revelation. And what's happened, I saw articles where there's revelations about crystal structures. And these crystal structures are the backbone of the technology that we're using. Crystals, they're used all over the place. And there has been a model that was trained which was able to discover crystals within a small amount of time, as many crystals as had been discovered by humans for like the last 100 years. And so we're in the time of revelation. Now, this may scare some of you who know about a book in the Bible called the Book of Revelations. And I would just remind you that there is a tradition in Judaism, and my Jewish friends, I'll tag you. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll laugh because, anyways, they probably will correct me, or at least one of them will. I'm thinking of one of them. You know who it is. There's a tradition that I understand that a prophecy about the future is not inevitable. A prophecy shows you what will be if you do not change. If you do not come to know God better and get closer to God, to learn how to walk and stay on the narrow path, if you do not learn how to do that better, this is what will happen. And so, we have the capacity to know God better, our Creator. We have the capacity to know our Creator better. We've been given this technology to help us get better at loving. So Jesus taught to love God and taught to love our neighbor as ourselves and to love everyone up to and including our enemies. And in order to do that, you have to be humble enough to imagine that you're wrong, that your interpretation of the words I'm saying or anyone else's words and the words in the Bible, the words in Revelation, are wrong. Your interpretation is wrong. It does not mean the words are wrong. So, this is the time of revelation. We have the capacity, we will increasingly have the capacity to have it revealed to us what was previously unknown by all humans, or even previously unknown by most humans. And what that means is you'll be able to get your favorite cup of coffee and your favorite meal cooked your favorite way consistently, and you'll be able to have a house that's built reliably. It's not going to fall down on you, and you're going to have clothes that don't fall apart. You'll have computers that don't fall apart, and they'll all be, everything will get better, will get much better as the technology is integrated properly. But that all depends on the people and positions of power and influence, and it depends on people participating. So participating with God, learning to grow close to God, and then cooperating in order to do good works. Compete with those who are not as close to God in order to build robots that do good work, to use the technology in good ways. And so it's an invitation to subscribe, like and share, keep an eye out, and when the robots start taking everybody's jobs, we can make sure that these robots are being used to do good work. And yeah, we just have to be prepared to make sure that if somebody's not using these robots to do good work, that we will become people who use these robots to do good work. So just be prepared so that we can reach a future where we all have reliable and good, very good food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, education. And then we're free to play, free to strive, and put forth as much effort as we want. So, let me know what you think.